The first half of this episode was absolutely action-packed and shows you what type of man Levi really is. And the rest of it was very cool, too. A little bit slower, but cool. Attack on Titan, the Defeated. 57th Expedition Beyond the Walls, Part 6. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and female Titan lovers of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and as you can tell, it seems like I'm losing my voice, or maybe getting it back. I don't know. This is another review on just the awesome and just grotesque and just action-filled and just wonderful series that, of course, is Attack on Titan. Now, I know a lot of people have asked for this, tape your family's reactions to it and this and that, and I did do that earlier in the year. My family is not real big on having a camera on them while they're enjoying themselves watching something. And you know what? It is what it is. I could do it, okay? And I have done those type of things before and will continue to do so. However, my 14-year-old, 7-year-old, and wife are just not super comfortable with it, so that's why we haven't done it. What I do is I try to go and convey any type of messages that I can, or if I can grab a little clip or something like that, I will. But the bottom line is that after the events of the last episode, I mean, it was just crazy action, right? I mean, you had Levi's squad getting just decimated, brutalized, and killed. You had the female Titan and Eren turning into the Eren Titan, going at it, and I mean, just beating the living fuck out of each other. You wind up having Eren go and he gets the top part of his head sliced off and just gets literally ripped. Eren gets ripped out of his Titan form and swallowed by the female Titan. The episode ends off with Mikasa coming after this crazed Titan bitch, and hell hath no fury like Mikasa's scorn, right? Levi pulls her back and says, just chill, bitch, just chill, right? We're gonna regroup. That's how things left off, right? Now, all the action happens in the first 5 or 6 minutes of this episode, and that's fine. It's fine. It was a great episode for what it was. This was really, truly showcasing, highlighting, and showing you how much of a badass this Levi is. This guy is next level. He's on some otherworldly shit, okay? Him and Mikasa go and hang back for a while and wait for the opportune time, and then with Levi, they basically come to the deduction of Levi's like, we're not worrying about trying to kill this bitch, okay? Or even capture her anymore. We're going to worry about trying to go and get Eren back because Mikasa thinks that Eren is still alive. Now, what she's saying is that, listen, if she wanted to kill Eren, she would have already killed him. That makes sense. She would have just killed him. There's no reason for her to go and put it. What she's trying to do is run away with him in her mouth, and Mikasa believes that he's being held in her nasty, slimy female Titan mouth, and because she's trying to get away with him, right? And this winds up falling into line with all the thoughts and theories, even that Commander Irvin had and whatnot. So, Levi says, all right, we're going to go at this bitch, and we're going to go at her with the assumption that Eren's alive. So I need you to distract her. Let me take care of all the cutting. And I'm like, oh, shit, right? So Mikasa's trying to go and spin around, do all this other stuff, hey, look at me, bitch, that type of thing, and get her attention. And the female Titan just fucking, I mean, she's like Forrest Gump on a mission, man. She just, run, Forrest, run! She's running. And we see Levi obviously coming up behind her, and right as Levi looks like he's about to come in for an attack, she stops, turns, and goes to nail him. I'm thinking, oh shit, man, she predicted that shit. She goes to jack him up and to nail him, right? And Levi goes into this fucking, I call it the Sonic the Hedgehog move, right? Dude starts going and flipping, like end over end, blades drawn, right? And I mean just slices and dices right up this bitch's arm, right? Then he goes and starts coming at her up and down. And I mean, like, we're sitting there watching it, right? And I swear to God, I'm looking, and my kids especially are like, just sitting there with their jaw dropped, and I'm just like, yeah, Levi's on some next level shit, isn't he, And my oldest son, James, is just like, oh, man, Levi has got some moves, right? Initially, automatically, his mind goes to video game. This would make for a great video game, right? And even my wife was just like, holy shit, So he's going up and down, slicing and dicing her, winds up cutting her up so bad that she actually has to go and stop. She stops what she's doing. She goes and winds up falling against a tree over there to try to go and protect her, her weak spot and everything like that. She can obviously harden up spots and everything else on her body at will. But this dude is just, and he's cutting flesh off her. I mean, he is just slicing and dicing, right? Okay. This is the infomercial right now for the Ginsu knife is what it is. You put 2 Ginsu knives in Levi's hand and have him do a fucking commercial, because that's what you had, right? Absolutely magnificent, right? Eventually winds up going, and Mikasa wants to go in for the kill, the death blow, even though he said don't bother doing that shit, right? So she still tries to come in for the death blow and almost winds up getting nailed for it. Swords break, you know, she hardens up her body, everything else. Levi has to come in. He's like, fuck, I have to do the entire thing. Levi winds up having to come in and go and save her, but in the process winds up getting his leg broken, dislocated, whatever. He gets his leg fucked up. Levi still winds up being able to come at her like at the speed of light and winds up dropping both sides of her jaws, right? So her jaw just flips open and then is able to pull Aaron in the slimy, just goopy shit sack that he's in and grabs him and is able to take off with him and get out of there. Broken leg and all, right? Levi is a real man, okay? Levi looks like he may play for the other team. I don't know if he does, and I don't give a shit because Levi, in my sense, he is a man in every sense of the word. And it has nothing to do with the sexuality or anything like that. It just has to do with Levi gets things done, right? Mikasa, in a lot of ways, she's the man, or she's the woman, right? She's absolutely the poster child for a strong woman, right? A great, strong character, gets things done. Now, in this case, she didn't because she was blinded by love. And even Levi said that, like, listen, man, don't let your feelings of love or whatever, you know what I mean? I get that you love him, okay? But just stop the shit right now. Let's fucking rescue him, you know? So that's the first 5 or 6 minutes in a nutshell, and that was absolutely, that's the part that's worth talking about that I'm obviously talking about here in this review. The rest of the episode, just to kind of go and put it into perspective for you, it's basically, it's everybody, it's the scout division, the scout regiment, turning tail and running, trying to get back home as fast as they can and licking their wounds, you know, trying to get their dead. There's obviously some issues where Titans are coming after them and everything else. There's this point where they wind up having to actually go and drop the bodies from the wagons that they have to slow down the Titan onslaught that's coming after them. But you know what? Levi goes and brings up a good point. There's this whole dichotomy going there of like, you know, should we honor the fallen by going back for their bodies, for their this? Levi's like, they're dead, okay? It's a dead, empty vessel. It's just nothing but a husk of flesh and bone and everything else. So it's very much that argument of like, you know, does the spirit leave the body? Is it this? I think a lot of times with burying somebody, having that body, that memorial, I think it's for the closure of the people that are alive. That's my opinion. The closure that people that are alive, that are left behind, have by going and seeing that lifeless body and being able to bury it, have their ceremony, their sermon, whatever, pay their respects, that is what's important. The person who has died that is no longer in there, there's no soul, there's no whatever, they don't give a fuck. I guarantee you most of them don't. And especially in a time like this, you're in enemy territory, you got to get out of there, right? But there's an argument that goes on between, you know, Levi and one of the other, you know, underlings where, you know, they want to go back and get this buddy and blah, blah, blah. Levi winds up he grabbed a patch from the dude's body, which I thought was nice, and gives it to the dude and says, remember him this way, right? But they wind up having to jettison these bodies, you know, and basically dump them off the wagons just so they can get away. And really, the rest of the episode is pretty much just sort of this melancholy, downtrodden, like, okay, the female Titan is technically won. I mean, we got Aaron back, right? But that's about it. Aaron's passed out in the back of a wagon. Levi done got his leg broke. We lost severe casualties. We never got to Shiganshina to go and find out what was in a goddamn basement at Aaron's old place, right, that his dad locked in there and Aaron's got the key for. We don't have any of that closure. We wind up going and turning tail and running and getting back to, licking our wounds and getting back to the safety of behind the walls, right? And you wind up seeing a really cool thing, too, at the end that was kind of neat of, there's always the naysayers. There's the ones that think it's a waste of taxpayer money and everything else. But what we wind up seeing is, just like when Aaron was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young kid waiting for the scout regiment to get back and, like, just so excited because they were his heroes, he winds up going, and as he kind of comes to, sees the same type of thing from some other kids that are there. And I think that was what they're trying to say, is that no matter what people think of you at the end, there's still always those that are going to cherish and value what you do. There's always that percentage of, whether it's kids or adults or whatever, that are going to look up at what you do and they're going to realize that what you do is very, very profound and that you are really a hero. You know, it's very much like, you know, a lot of times we don't credit the men and women of the armed services, of the armed forces, or even like firefighters that risk their lives and things like that all the time. You just take for granted that that's what they do, right? You know, now my brother was in the Army, still is, he's in the reserves, and was over in Afghanistan for 10 months, right? And I can't even imagine the things that he would have had to go through. Absolutely cannot fathom, and he hasn't even told me some of them. Many of them, but the point is that until you've lived it, don't judge it, right? Everybody's got their demons, you know what I mean? Just like people that go in and try to criticize things that I do. Till you've walked in my shoes, buddy, don't tell me about what I can or can't do, or I should or shouldn't do, or whatever, because you're not living my life. I'm living, it's my story, it's my picture, right? It's my movie, okay? I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, even in these reviews. I give you my opinion. I'm not going to go and tell you that this is the way it is. I'm going to tell you this is the way I perceive it to be. You agree, you don't agree, you got your own opinion. We talk about it in the comments. It's wonderful. But absolutely, like I said, a very, very good episode. And now it's winding things down to the end of the series. Only a few episodes left. And certainly now it's, finding out who the hell the female Titan is. So that's how the episode winds up wrapping up, though, is obviously them back in the cities, within the city walls. My episode question for you, brothers and sisters, is do you think Levi was right, or do you think that soldier was right? Does it really matter about these empty, dead, lifeless husks to bring back? I mean, if you can get them, get them. But if it's going to endanger the rest of the group that's still alive, don't you think that maybe it's a sacrifice that should be made? Let me know what your answer is to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Thanks for watching, and remember to check out my other channels and follow me on Facebook and Twitter as well.